Global Goods Partners was founded 17 years ago. My partner, Shimony, and I had each worked in other nonprofit organizations. As we worked with women all around the world in different countries, we saw beautiful products that women were making, but they often didn't have a market to sell them in, even locally. We started very small. Early on, a lot of that was done by phone calls and email. There's stories that Catherine and I could tell you about people traveling 2 days by bus to get to an internet cafe, I think it was in Uganda, just to communicate. The internet connectivity of the world has changed a lot. We created an e-commerce website when e-commerce was in its infancy. Not only were we learning about it, but the whole world was learning about e-commerce.
My name is Daniel Behar. I currently work with Rock Creek Global Advisors, an international economic policy advisory firm that, among other issues, advises global companies on the digital economy. Small businesses play a central role in the global economy, and they play a central role in the context of digital trade. Right now, small businesses are using digital trade to access local, national, and global consumer markets through the internet and through digital platforms. And what we see is digital trade can be really a game changer for small businesses. The pandemic tells a very important story about digital trade. At a moment when we all were highly isolated, digital trade provided an outlet to keep people around the world going. From moving work meetings and kids schooling online, to ordering groceries online, to ordering household items online that we normally would have just gone down the street to a local store to purchase. Digital trade was central, and the numbers really bear that out. UNCTAD reported that the share of internet users across 66 countries increased from 53% before the pandemic to 60% in 2020 and 2021. And interestingly, the greatest rise in that occurred in developing countries.
When COVID hit, many of our partners were struggling in countries like Peru and Nepal, and we were there to provide support through our small grants program. Even though our demand had dried up during lockdown, we were committed to our partners, so we continued to put in those orders and build up our inventory for the time when that inventory would be in demand.
As a small business, shipping is a challenge, and it has been, but since COVID, it's become so much greater. We've seen prices increase 300% from certain communities.
Global Goods Partners has been working with Kandahar Treasure, a social enterprise in Kandahar, Afghanistan, for over a decade. I heard about Rangina's work, Rangina Hamidi, the founder of Kandahar Treasure, through a colleague, and was immediately dazzled by the beautiful embroidery and was completely taken by her mission, by her brilliance and commitment to work in an area that she knew well, and her perseverance to provide for the talented Afghan artisan women who have such hard lives. What we brought to the partnership was that market access. Tell me a little bit about how things are going for the women in Kandahar.
So a lot of the women who are in poverty, where do you make the dent to bring the change? And that dent is education. Because when their children, particularly girls, have an opportunity to educate themselves, they will take the lead in their lives to create a different future. The few young girls that we encouraged over the years to go and attend schools, they're no longer able to continue their schooling. But you know what they're doing right now? They're leading the organization. They're the ones who are communicating with me here halfway across the world. And they're the ones who I had to translate the design process from your team in New York with these young women who now know how to use WhatsApp. They know colors. We could not transfer the exact colors on pictures through WhatsApp. And so I told them, why don't you Google the color code that you guys had picked for Pantone colors? Mm-hmm. And these young girls are able to do that. So it just tells you how much education can benefit people all over the world. But until they're able to complete their schools, they're now leading this initiative, and I'm so proud of them.
Right now, small businesses, underserved communities often lack access to the skills and the tools and the knowledge and the capital that they might need to access the digital economy. And that is an issue that needs to be addressed and can be addressed by governments through international cooperation with regard to digital inclusion. Of course, at the same time, we also see good old-fashioned protectionism. We see government imposing restrictions on players in the digital economy in order to favor local firms and to keep out foreign firms coming in through a digital presence. So the challenge is to find ways to address important, legitimate public policy interests while maintaining an open digital economy.
Global Goods Partners is all about poverty alleviation and social justice and bringing the global economy to the most vulnerable populations, and most vulnerable being women and children. We took on that role of identifying the products that would sell well in the US market with our customers, and then committing our marketing dollars to promoting their beautiful products and the stories so that our customer could identify, how the product was made, where it comes from, what is the impact that this work is having. It's a way of doing business that's unusual. It's based on our fair trade principles and our commitment to our artisan partners, and not to give up when things get tough, to keep going.